So from the beginning, the story, we wanted to tell two different sides of it. So it was important to be able to tell that from a more controlled, assassin-like side, and a little bit more free-natured, sort of flexible players that sort of just want to play the game. So in building the story, it was important to have those two sides, and Jacob and Evie grew sort of progressively out of that need, and the way the characters developed over time, over the past over 2 years, just fed into splitting some of the narrative between them, splitting the missions, and giving them different skill sets. So they have a few different skills that make them different. So it was important to us. It was also something new, and we felt excited to bring it. What we've found so far in playtests is that players just have an innate desire to play as either Evie or Jacob. We don't need to tell them that they have to play as one or the other. They just sort of, oh, I really like to play as Jacob, or oh, I really like to play as Evie. So it's really up to player choice of how much they play as either character. Evie has a few skills that push her more towards stealth, and Jacob has a few that push him more towards fight. So what we're showing here at Gamescom is for Evie, the Chameleon skill and the Knife Master skill, both of which push her to be better at stealth than her brother. So Chameleon allows her to stop in the middle of wherever she is, even in plain sight, out in the open, and she'll be invisible to nearby enemies unless they walk right up to her. So it makes her, it's a high level skill, but it makes her very, very powerful in stealth. So yeah, we really like the black boxes. We like that 360 philosophy of giving the player an objective and letting them approach it how they want. For us, building on top of the idea from Unity was to make sure that the player could comprehend what their options were and what they did. So we focused on providing more information about, okay, this is one of the options. If you do this option, you're going to get this reward or this result. So if you want to play in this style, choose this option, or do whatever you want. So it was all about giving the player more information to make better informed decisions. The thing that redefines it is adding in the open world, the conquest loop of taking over London. You have this great sequence, you have these sequences and the story missions that are classic AC that everyone's going to love. Those are also more open. We've tried to make the missions more open-ended and bring that philosophy from the black box of 360, of letting the player approach it how they want. We've pushed that in the missions as much as possible. The conquest loop is the open world, is taking over the city, using your gang to fight the other gangs. So you really have these very strong pillars that push the player in both open world and in missions. And then when you combine those, you have progression. So it's a lot of RPG elements. You gain levels, you use skill points, you gain experience. And so your character will get better over time. So you're wanting to go back and forth between the missions and the open world in order to make your character better. It is about creating chaos, so there's more things in the world to interact with than either distract enemies and dropping things on them, or carrying around explosive crates that you can place and then draw enemies to them and cause an explosion. So it's more about making sure there's a lot of options for the player in the world and making sure they have tools that interact well with those options to create a lot of possibilities. Vehicles are another big element of that because it's the first time you have fully physics-driven horses pulling carriages that can flip and go flying around in the environment, which that sort of dynamism and freedom hasn't been seen in Assassin's Creed before. That's what we want to deliver, is that openness and that freedom, and it's a choice we made and we're going to deliver on it. So we take those challenges and we make sure we deliver.